moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Hey there, everybody. Far-flung co-hosts have returned to their normal positions, and it's good to be with you on a Monday with the sun shining brightly outside, heat wave fully in effect, and halftime with you for a couple of hours on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. I'm Phil Elson back in the home studio after a weekend at the beach in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. Drew Barrett, who has been more far-flung than any of us for the last week or so at SEC Media Days and then in East West Memphis for the weekend, is back at the headquarters of ESPN Arkansas, where he is able to look right over the desk at the beautiful countenance of the one and only Matty T. How's everybody doing today?
Doing pretty good.
I'm doing well.
It's a little warmer than I'd like.
Yeah. Is this heat wave ever going to break? I mean,
No.
Can we at least get like 1 or 2 days where I don't have to contemplate, going on my power walk or if I'm going on my power walk, making sure I write my last will and testament because I'm going to die.
The problem for you that
I
you're
keep
dealing
getting
with,
halfway into it. I'm just like, nope, I'm done. I get 1 mile down and I'm just like, I'm just going to turn back.
Drew, the problem you're dealing with is that I would tell you to wake up early in the morning before you go to work. But I mean, what are we going to tell you to do? Wake up at midnight then?
I'd have to. Or a lot of people would be like, why don't you just go when the sun goes down? You mean like 30 minutes before my bedtime? Like I'm literally stuck. I can only do any type of physical exercise outdoors during the day, during like the hottest part of the day. So I've been stuck between a rock and a hard place. And the apartment that I have, they have treadmills, but I'm not a big treadmill guy. If I'm going on, especially since I've been doing, 3 miles a day, I want to feel like I've gone somewhere, and just it adds more motivation of, when I start to hit that wall about, mile 2, coming down the back stretch, I have a goal because I have to make it there. I can't just stop and then, in my workout, I have to make it back to my apartment. With the treadmill, I find that most of the time I start to hit that wall and I just go, you know what, that's good enough. So I don't get my full workout. I don't bust through that wall like I like to. So
Keep in mind the treadmill's doing like half the work for you too.
Exactly, too. And it's indoors. I'm not burning as many calories. Like that's one reason why I like doing it outside is because I do sweat. It helps with weight loss and everything like that. But Phil, I don't want to die. I want to get in shape, but I don't want to die.
Yeah, you got to find that fine line at this point of the year, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, all across our listening audience is going to be around 100 degrees at some point today. It already feels like 100 degrees in Hot Springs in our 96.3 ESPN affiliate. The folks up in Mountain Home are going to be up to 96 later today. Right now in the Fort, it feels like it's 100. It's getting up to 102. And in Fayetteville, it's 92 degrees on the way up to 100. So just another day in this amazingly hot summer.
It's like my air conditioning can never catch up, though. Last night I go to bed, it was 84 degrees in my apartment, and then I wake up at 74. It never gets to a comfortable level. And then
mine doesn't stop running. I mean,
mine
regardless
mine
of
hasn't
what,
stopped running in days and days now.
regardless of what temperature I set it at, it was running when I went to bed. It was running a couple times I woke up through the night, running when I got up for bed. It cut off for about 5 seconds right as I'm about to leave the apartment to go to work this morning. And I literally sat there and counted because I knew it was going to cut back on. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back to full blast.
Well, it's going to be like this for a while, and we'll just have to find a way to put up with it. Probably going to be like this for a lot of summers moving forward. But you got to be out in the heat at some point, and Arkansas football will be out in the heat next week for the beginning of fall practice. And now that SEC Media Days are finished, Big Ten Media Days are starting up today. ACC finished up last week, so this will be the last of the big leagues that really get things going.
ACC was last week?
I was about to, they did, yeah, exactly. Where you were focused on the SEC that started Monday, went through Thursday. ACC, I think, was I don't remember if it started Tuesday or Wednesday, but it was last week.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know it was going on. I mean, I know I was in the SEC media bubble.
You were
and
in a
you're
bubble.
concentrating
Exactly
about
right.
everything going on. But you would have thought I would at least, scrolling through Twitter as much as I probably do on a day-to-day basis, I would have seen something from a storyline of, kind of like we got from Big 12 media days of Mike Gundy tells it like it is. Dabo Sweeney goes off on such and such of college football. You would think that we would have gotten something like that, or like, not like the good old days, says Mac Brown as he's about to turn 105. Like some weird headline like that from the media that didn't have the pleasure of being at the one true media days, which is the SEC.
Well, earlier in the day, and I guess I don't open up my TikTok account very often. I have a TikTok app. I've never actually put one out, but this is where news is breaking apparently right now, because I haven't even realized that College Game Day is beginning to release some of the games that they're gonna be doing their pregame show at this year already. You've got now I saw yesterday on Twitter that they had announced that there'll be a special Thursday edition for the reemergence of my favorite, outside of the SEC, my favorite college football rivalry, the Backyard Brawl with Pitt and West Virginia, which is a great game. It'll be played at no longer called Heinz Field in the Berg. And then Georgia and Oregon at the Chick-fil-A Classic on that Saturday. And you got 5 or 6 other games they've already picked, including Florida State. You go into the big rivalries, Texas, Oklahoma, and I wonder, like, when you look at the Arkansas schedule, which is the game that is going to break the streak of finally having a home game and a home game day at the University of Arkansas. And I'm not counting if they pick the Southwest Classic. If it's Arkansas versus A&M, that doesn't count. It's got to be a home game. Last year you were on game day against Georgia, and wasn't there another game? I think Arkansas was it the Ole Miss game. I forget. If that's
I don't believe so. I know it was Arkansas, Georgia. I think that might have been. I think that was the only one last year. But good news is that the weeks that have been announced. Obviously, you talked about the 3 or 4 games that they're going to do week 1, week 4, Wisconsin, Ohio State, week 6, Texas and OU.
Did
week
you see
13,
this on your
Florida.
TikTok app?
I did.
You opened it up and you're like, oh, look at this.
Yeah, I saw this last night. They did a video and it's on the College Game Day TikTok account. Week 13, Florida State. Now, if you look ahead at the Arkansas schedule, you're looking at when are possible dates in Fayetteville that make a lot of sense. And the 3 that make a lot of sense right now, just on face value, would be week 5 against Alabama. That's in Fayetteville. They don't have a site for that. You've got week 11 against LSU in Fayetteville. Don't have a site for that. And week 12 in Fayetteville against Ole Miss. They don't have a site for that. Now you're going to have to look at the other games and kind of see how the schedule all folds out. But you've got 3 pretty good shots right there, right off the bat.
Now, I'll tell you right off the bat here, I look at Arkansas versus Ole Miss because of the cachet of last year's game basically being recognized as the best game of the year across the entire sport. And the 2 programs are, they're rising, certainly, in the SEC West, entertaining coaches, entertaining offenses. But that Arkansas-Ole Miss game last year was October. The only thing is that you've got to be successful by the end of the year if you're going to be on game day, obviously. So if Arkansas is in the same position they were last year, potentially this could happen. Same with the Rebels. I mean, because you've moved the Arkansas-Ole Miss game all the way to the second to last game of the year, November the 19th. It's the best game in the SEC that weekend by far. Georgia-Kentucky could give you a run. Georgia-Kentucky could give you a run.
Because technically that could be for the East.
That could be an East Division championship. It is the last game that Georgia plays in conference that year, this year. And
Tennessee,
and
South Carolina doesn't do it for you?
Not necessarily. Probably not.
Do you believe the hype
Florida,
that could be
Vanderbilt doesn't. So, I mean, you're going to get some sort of pregame, I think. Whether it's SEC Nation or whether it's going to be game day. There's only a couple of other games, really. I think 3 games that I looked at the national schedule that weekend that might have that sort of cash. And of course, this all has. We're talking about like the 11th game of the year here, so
And we're still 40 days away from game one.
But it still means it still means something to like look ahead. You're like, well, they're starting to release their game day schedule now.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the thing that Arkansas has lacked for over a decade now. It's been 15 years since the last time ESPN Game Day was in Fayetteville. So November, I mean, you've got I think, the best game in the SEC. I'm being biased. Georgia-Kentucky could be just as good because it really could be an East Division championship. If that's the case, if Georgia hasn't run away with a division by then like they did last year, then you have a competition in your own league. Outside of that, you've got two legacy rivalry games, Bedlam and USC UCLA. And because of the Trojans and the Bruins being, I mean, last year's game stunk, but that was last year. Nobody was there because USC was no good and everybody had given up by then. Things are a little bit different right now. I mean, USC very well could be a contender for the college football playoff. So, if they're in that position, and these are the two teams that are leaving the Pac-12, that would potentially be. But that's also a game that's going to be on Fox. So is that where ESPN's necessarily going to go? Either Miami, Clemson, maybe. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma probably is your best competition for game day that weekend.
Yeah, especially since, we're getting down to the final few of those matchups that we're going to see with the Battle of Bedlam with OU and Oklahoma State. So just looking at it, I mean, the storylines are there. I mean, when it comes to this Arkansas team, you just got to win. That's really what it comes down to, because College Game Day loves to say that they go to the best matchup week by week. That's what they do. That's why they don't normally put out the schedule this far in advance, and that kind of confuses me a bit, why they would go ahead and do Week 13 with Florida State. It's not like either one of them is projected to be a top 10 team.
Same with Texas. Texas, Week 6.
I know.
By Week 6, by Week 1, Texas is back.
Everybody wants to go to the
fair
and
everything. But yeah, I mean, by Week 6 last year, Texas was. Well, you saw what happened.
Yeah, I did.
It wasn't any good. So they're already doing Texas, Oklahoma. But then come on. This is ESPN. This is the SEC. These are the two big schools moving into the league. It feels like it might have been almost contractually obligated once the schools decided to join the SEC that they would get game day X amount of times. Really would love to see some horns down that day. But, I'd like to see Arkansas get a game day. Probably more than I'd like to see the horns down without a flag in the Big 12. 877-377-6963 on halftime today. Connor O'Gara, bottom of the hour, and Rob Fischer, hour number 2. Rob is the sideline reporter and postgame host for the Memphis Grizzlies on Bally Sports, but is also hosting a podcast focusing on Major League Baseball called Odds Couple and Infield Fly. So we had the Major League, we had the Hall of Fame inductions yesterday on a beautiful day in Cooperstown. We've got a frightening look into the future of chess, potentially, and much more coming up on halftime, so stay with us.
Together we stand as tall as the Tower of Old Maid. Our memories are etched in stone like names on Senior Walk, and our blood flows Razorback red. For 100 years, we've been hog wild, and today we continue the tradition. We are Arkansas Razorbacks.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
Get the best value, service, and TV locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Stop in and ask us about the Hopper 3, Dish's most advanced DVR that delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now. Wow World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling, next to Frank Rowe Furniture. That's 601 Church Street in Barling. Come see us at our new location.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device. Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Some of my fondest childhood memories are from volunteering with my grandmother. Helping others was her passion. She'd always say, "The sweetest fruits of life come from serving others." And she was right.
At Shelter Insurance, we strive to make a positive impact in the communities where we work and live.
Ask Shelter agents Randy Milam or Brad Howe about a free insurance review.
Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith is open and ready to care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store has COVID vaccinations available for ages 5 and up and the new second booster for ages 50 and up. These vaccines are safe and effective in preventing severe cases of COVID. Call 452-6116 to schedule your booster appointment or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Calling all fans of flavor, there's something new at your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith. Fridays Fajitas. Fajitas you love in bold new flavors like dynamite shrimp, tandoori chicken, and the spicier whiskey glazed blaze Tex-Mex. Right now, get free chips and queso with any Fajitas order. Dine in or order online for curbside pickup at Fridays.com. New Fridays Fajitas at your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine.
Follow the guys on Twitter at PhilElsonPXP, at Matt Travis, and at DBarrett36. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
You know, out of all the things that really kind of stand out about this notice of allegations to Tennessee from the NCAA, 32 instances of recruits or players taking cash or gifts, all of this kind of stuff. It's that the coach in question here, Jeremy Pruitt, was funneling money through his wife, Casey. And do you know how they met?
I do know how they met, but I'm going to let you tell him.
She worked in compliance. She worked in compliance when they met at a previous university where he was a defensive coordinator. I think it was Florida State. Oh my goodness! I mean, this is the script
it's
that
a
writes
doozy.
itself.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, when your job, when you're coming for, she joked previously that he married her because she's a great recruiter. Ha ha ha. Maybe he married her because she kind of knew some ways in and around the NCAA compliance books.
Did she though? Because, I mean, they got caught.
They did get caught. They did get caught. Maybe because it seemed like it was a little bit too much out in the open. And when you've got this many instances of it, it's just it feels like it's awfully difficult to hide. But it's like this is one of those things, the script writes itself, once Jeremy Pruitt realized that he had fallen in love with someone that worked in compliance, his dastardly plan was hatched. Of course, he wasn't the head coach. He wasn't even close to being a head coach by then. But wow, this is some good stuff here.
It really is some good stuff. I mean, you read through some of these reports and, some of the violations and the money and the different things that it almost – I remember when this story originally broke about a year, 2 years ago when we started to hear about the McDonald's bags. And I said, there's no way it's that dumb. I said, there's no way they're that cartoonishly dumb when it comes to somehow trying to, cheat and pay recruits. This is obviously before NIL and everything that's going on in today's college football. I said, how can he be that dumb? Well, turns out they are that dumb. I mean, it is that stupid to where, like, you look at some of the different benefits and things that Casey Pruitt paid for. I've never personally got a Manny or a Petty, but this La Nails in Knoxville, I mean, they made some bank. They did a lot of business, apparently, with Casey Pruitt and some of these recruits' moms and girlfriends, because there was a lot of money exchanging hands to go get Mannies and Petties for moms and girlfriends. So I guess if you're ever in the Knoxville area and you want to treat yourself or treat your loved one, take them to La Nails. They apparently do an outstanding job.
This coming out of the Knoxville News website. Casey Pruitt provided $12,500 in cash car payments, $500 payments, 25 payments each, $3,000 in cash rent for a player and his mom from September 2018 to March 2021. The thing is, so much of this is now kind of like legal, kind of like legal, right? I mean, depending on where the money necessarily is coming from, but before the day of name, image, and likeness, a little over a year ago, you wouldn't have had to hide all of this stuff. It would just be coming from. It wouldn't be coming from Casey Pruitt. It wouldn't be coming from the head coach's wife necessarily. It would be coming from some LLC that was formed to make it look like a player is doing something to, earn the money, and there you go.
Well, technically, this is what they did while these were still recruits. It's still technically illegal. You can't pay a recruit on a recruiting visit. You still can't give them this type of money. Now, with the car payments and all the players that did end up committing to Tennessee, now that would be above board. You could do it fine, like you said, go through collectives, go through different companies around town that would give them the money for the quote-unquote service, whether they do it or not. But the initial things that these violations, it still is illegal. It's just so stupid. I mean, like I said, you start reading these things and it's like, how do you think that you're going to get away with this? I mean, is it so commonly known that everybody's doing this that they just figured that, if this is how so-and-so is getting away with it at University A, then I can get away with it at University B. And if that's the truth, I mean, there's so many universities out there that are doing this so badly because it does seem so cartoonishly stupid when you start to ultimately read these things.
I think, well, nobody's looking, and then it turns out, somebody was sort of looking. Nobody's looking now, though.
No.
It doesn't appear that way. And maybe Tennessee avoids major penalties because of self-reporting, and they have cleaned house as far as the athletic department is concerned from the folks who were involved in this. This will kind of test a little bit of the going theory now. Why would current coaches, new student athletes, new administrators have to pay for the I'm not going to call them mistakes, the crimes committed by those who were swept out of office in that case. So you and I have talked about that quite a bit. We'll see, because it seems that Danny White has sort of made, they've done everything you need to do, not necessarily outside of a school imposed bowl ban from last year, to be on the up and up, at least in the eyes. So if the NCAA is going to change the way that they approach these things, and so much of it has to do with the speed of the investigation, this one has taken, if you're looking at something that ended in 2021, it took about a year.
Yeah, it did. It was actually faster than what a lot of these different cases are. Now, this would be the real example of how things are going to go forward with the NCAA and their policy about being honest. If they Tennessee still gets the book thrown at them, then this is just another example of why would you ever work with the NCAA, because Tennessee not only self-reported, they then gave the NCAA more than what the NCAA was able to find. The NCAA wasn't able to find some of these violations, and they said, oh, yeah, here's 3 or 4 more that we did.
We got a phone call, and then we'll have a break with Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South coming up next. Eddie is here with us today. I thought I saw, the power of, how it feels like Eddie's got so much energy. He could sort of, power the entire city of Clarksville just through his own energy alone. I saw something yesterday off the coast of Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, that might have a little bit more power than Eddie, but maybe not, coming close to it. I saw a water spout. For the first time in my life, saw a water spout. Actually recorded this thing. And
you're on the CBS News Twitter, too.
CBS News. I think this video was seen by the Weather Channel, too.
25K. Wow,
that
look at
was
you,
that was sort of, I thought of Eddie for a moment there, because, Eddie, I could hear your voice through a water spout or a tornado with the train rolling through. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, gentlemen, and I hope the fan base are doing well. But, I woke this morning, gentlemen, the reason I'm calling in, to the smell of the recipe starting to bake in the oven, and it's starting to simmer. We got 40 days, gentlemen, and to this fan base in the distance, I can hear that whistle starting to blow a little louder. It's starting to become clear. I can hear, not only have I been preaching over the last couple of weeks, the excitement, how true it is running rampant across the whole natural state. I can hear the Woo-Pig Suey echoing. And
that's right, Eddie. Everybody's really fired up right now, man. Arkansas's picked 3rd in the West. You mentioned it, 40 days. You get fall practice, fall camp. I hate calling it fall camp because it's summer. You got summer camp starting up in a matter of days now. So, yeah, the excitement level's there. I mean, that's been your theme recently, has been the excitement level of everything that's going on for Arkansas football. Tell me, what do you think that leads to this year for Arkansas football? What is this excitement going to lead to for this team? Are you going to be this excited by the time you get to the end of the battle line rivalry against Mizzou?
If you're listening today, I'm glad you asked that, because listen here, this is going to be a special season. We won 9 games last year, could have won 10, a gutsy call by the Sam Jukebox Kip and Oxford. Of course, we lost in overtime, but it was a gutsy call. Let me say this team has the ingredients and the recipe to surpass 10 wins, and I'm going to stick by my prediction. Not to disrespect any of the teams we face this year. It's a brutal schedule. But, by the way, the number 1 toughest schedule, just like last year and the year before in the entire country. But what do we got? We got the playmaker at quarterback who's underrated. We'll take care of that business on the playing field this year.
I got to let you know we can't go through the entire roster and coaching staff because we've got a guest coming up in just a moment here. What is it going to lead to? Tell me what it's going to lead to by the end of the regular season. What are you looking at?
I think Arkansas, only 3 times have we won 11 wins a season. I think we're on the way there. I don't know who it's going to be, but I believe our football program is headed to the upper room of the SEC.
Wow. Is this 11 wins before the end of the regular season, or counting a bowl game or playoff games if you're going in that direction?
I think we're going 11-1.
All right. Wow. That is
hard to hear first, folks.
11 wins, progressively louder with each victory, it seems like, as well.
You and I agree that you should do everything you can to save your marriage. Divorce is hard, expensive, and its outcome is usually not all you hope for. However, when doing everything has failed, when divorce remains as your last option, consider Cordell & Cordell as your first choice to help you through the divorce process to a better place on the other side. We've been a partner men can count on for more than 30 years. let us be that partner for you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives, which includes protecting men's financial means to do so. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Little Rock area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 501-502-0000. That's 501-502, all zeros. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in Midtown Little Rock. Gianna Masori, licensed in Arkansas. Announcer is a paid presenter.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Fishing never stops. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle has everything from jigs to raincoats, Todd Huckabee crappie rods, Bobby Garland crappie jigs, and stay warm and dry with a River West rain suit, the area's largest selection of Zoom plastics, Flash Mob Jr., Kitech swim baits, Mega Bass rods, plus rattle traps, life jackets, and rod and reel repair. Find all the top brands and everything you need at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 1 mile east of I-540 on Highway 64. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Why do people do business with First Western? Because First Western builds relationships with all of their customers. They partner for the long haul to help you with your financial goals over all seasons of life. First Western is prompt, responsive, and they deliver with quick answers and on-time loan closings. When is the last time your banker called you? If you are looking for a high level of service and a financial partner who will listen and respond, try First Western. For more information, visit them online at firstwestern.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company has 2 locations, 1316 South Zero and 200 South Zero Street in Fort Smith, serving the glass and glazing needs of Fort Smith, Northwest Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma, commercial and residential. Tub and shower enclosures, mirrors, glass table, and countertops cut to custom size are just a few services offered by Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company. Arkansas Glass and Mirror stocks laminate glass, plexiglass, Lexan, window glass, and mirror and plate glass. For more information, call 646-4300. That's 646-4300.
Picture another world, another dimension, where left is right, up is down, and chicken sandwiches only cost $1. This place exists, and it's called the Hardee's app. So when you buy one hand-breaded chicken sandwich, you get another for just $1. Cluckbait. It's time to fall for some cluckbait. Bite into the hand-breaded chicken menu only at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants exclusively in the Hardee's app or website by registered My Rewards members. Tax not included. See app or website for additional terms and conditions.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Connor O'Gara joined us live at the SEC Media Days last week. 1 week ago, he and Drew shook hands, looked at each other, and finally realized that the two of them don't dress alike very much.
Nope.
Connor, I think you kept the suit on. You kept various suits on though most of the week. Did you ever dress down by the end of the week, or did you keep the tie?
Did dress down. I did have by Wednesday it was just collared shirt untucked. By Thursday it was chambray shirt, white tee underneath, untucked with sneakers. So I did get to that point. It took me a few days, but look, I mean, you make that first impression with a suit, and then it kind of makes you known that, oh, hey, that guy can actually dress. He doesn't just live in his mom's basement. He lives in a house wherein he has his own office and everything, and he, can tie his shoes like a real adult. But, yeah, by the end of the week, I was dressing down.
Some of us still try to find shoes that you never have to tie. It just makes life a little bit easier sometimes. So I read your column about KJ Jefferson not getting much respect, and he's playing to that, and I think that's great. I actually didn't want him in the top three, in either of the top three teams, because I think that plays exactly to the way that he views himself too. But I read where, Tim Tebow's reasoning for why I didn't have KJ in his top five was more about the weapons around KJ, specifically wide receiver more than anything else, is what it's got to be. And I'm seeing, a lot of people picking Arkansas second. You did. They end up picked third amongst SEC media members. Do you think that you're parsing very small pieces of teams when you're looking at the difference between second place and third place? I view if you pick Arkansas second, that means you think they're going to beat A&M. What is the difference between Arkansas and A&M? Is it receivers? Is this a reason why you'd knock Arkansas down a peg in the division standings, at least preseason?
Well, for what it's worth, I did look a certain Mr. Tebow in his eye and tell him that I disagreed with him about KJ not having in his top five. I have KJ as my number 3 quarterback in the SEC. I thought he should have gotten all SEC love ahead of Will Levis. I totally understand the argument that it actually helps him to continue to get disrespected. That plays into this entire mindset that he's had throughout this offseason. But I look at Arkansas in the gap between 2 and 3 and say, all right, what do I have more confidence in over the duration of a year? I have more confidence in what Arkansas returns from an identity standpoint than I do A&M. What is A&M's identity? What are they going to be on offense? They're going to be a team that probably has to run the ball a lot. Devon Achane, in my opinion, is their best returning offensive player. We saw the development last week with Anaya Smith. With the arrest, we'll kind of wait and see what to make of that situation, what his suspension looks like. But this is a team that's starting a new quarterback. This is a team that on defense has a very new front seven, that has a new defensive coordinator after Mike Elko left for Duke. So all of these different things. And, oh, by the way, Jimbo Fisher hasn't had a top 30 passing offense since Jameis Winston. So when I'm trying to figure out A&M's identity, yeah, they got the influx in talent. They just signed this historically great recruiting class, this number 1 class in America in 2022. But is that class going to make or break this team? Is that class going to have really a massive impact on a team that could be competing for a New Year's Six Bowl? In my opinion, probably not. Whereas Arkansas, I know what Arkansas is going to be. Arkansas is going to be one of, if not the best running teams in all of Power 5. They got a quarterback who can grind for you in multiple ways and can beat you with his arm and with his legs, downfield intermittent passing game. And I feel like this is a defense that I look at and say they should be better, despite the fact that they lost Grant Morgan, despite the fact that they lost Hayden Henry. I still think that they're going to be better with Jalen Catalon, Bumper Pool back, the addition of Drew Sanders. It's been well documented. So all of these things, I think the gap is simply, I feel like I have a better idea that Arkansas can withstand the ebbs and flows of the SEC West than A&M does.
Mm-hmm. Now, Connor, what were some of the other big takeaways, as we're kind of recapping, getting ready for the season? Anything else really stand out besides the KJ Jefferson hate that from SEC media as a week as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the quarterback play, and I'm really impressed with so many of these guys. I mean, it feels like we spent the entire week just debating quarterback rankings because it's at the best place it's been in the SEC since at least 2013 and maybe even longer. And everybody kind of feels like they're getting disrespected right now. I mean, that was one of the other things I brought up with Tebow. He only has Hendon Hooker at number 5 in his quarterback ranking. He's talking about the disrespect that he's getting there. Everybody feels like they're getting disrespect because outside of Bryce Young at number 1, there's not really that consensus from like spots 2 through 8. But we got to see and talk to a lot of these quarterbacks at SEC Media Days, and I thought a lot of them were just really impressive dudes. I become more and more impressed with Hendon Hooker every time we talk to him. This is somebody who has had to overcome a heart condition that what he went through in 2019, was kind of allowed to play in an offense that best suits his skill set last year with Josh Heupel, and now returns as one of the best 10 quarterbacks in all of college football. And so getting to speak with him and kind of the reasons that he's been motivated and all the different things he's had to go through in college, I thought was impressive. Getting to speak with a guy like DK Joyner, who has been at South Carolina seemingly forever and was starting off as a 4-star quarterback recruit that was wanted by everybody in the country and has transitioned into this role of receiver, special teams, run blocker extraordinaire who can also kind of fill in and play quarterback like he did in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. I just became really impressed with a lot of these quarterbacks. Will Levis, KJ Jefferson, these guys handle themselves extremely well. Bryce Young, another one who, you know what, like these guys have all eyes on them. They really do. And given all the distractions that NIL could potentially bring, I just think a lot of these guys are wired the correct way. I know that's kind of that's not necessarily a hot take to say that I think the SEC is in a great place with quarterbacks, but I just became more and more impressed with the guys that so many of these teams have under center.
Now, we didn't have the bombshell or breaking news happen during SEC Media Days because it ended on Thursday, but we got the news on Friday about the 18 Level 1 violations that happened under Jeremy Pruitt's watch at Tennessee. You know, I remember when the McDonald's bag story all came out, and I thought, there's no way that is actually true. That's too cartoonishly stupid. And now that you read through these violations, it is that cartoonishly stupid. They were that dumb in Knoxville when doing everything that they did that now is illegal. And Tennessee was so upfront about it. You know, they even gave the NCAA things that the NCAA didn't find themselves. Is that going to help Tennessee when it comes to the NCAA ruling, or is this just going to be another example of why ever help out the NCAA because they don't care either way?
Well, first of all, the dumb headlines about the McDonald's bag full of cash, as much as I wanted those to be true, according to what the NCAA found, those actually weren't true. They were providing McDonald's and $220 meals at the Golden Arches, but they weren't necessarily providing just bags of cash to recruits. But this is such a calculated move, and the timing of it is really interesting because, and I'm writing this column right now, it kind of feels like Tennessee might be shooting the moon. Now, I have no idea what the NCAA is going to decide, neither do you. And if you think you do, look at Mizzou, look at UNC in those cases of academic fraud, and then tell me you have any idea what the NCAA is going to do. Because it doesn't matter from a cooperation standpoint. History suggests that it's just kind of whatever side they wake up on that morning, on whatever side of the bed. So I look at this and I think, well, if Tennessee, with now 18 level 1 violations, because remember, they were trying to get out of paying Jeremy Pruitt that $12.6 million buyout, which was the byproduct of an extension he signed just a few months before that 2019 season, and then Tennessee was able to kind of find a way out of it. I can't imagine that Jeremy Pruitt, who was fired with cause, is now going to be able to come up with any sort of settlement to get a piece of that $12.6 million. So if you just fired a coach without having to pay a $12.6 million buyout, if you end up not getting a bowl ban, which we'll wait and see what happens with that, and you don't have any of these major recruiting violations, which, again, remember, Tennessee has this bustling collective that is doing very, very well on the recruiting trail, then did you just kind of shoot the moon and have this $60,000 fee that you offered up to the NCAA to get out of all this? It kind of feels like that. I mean, I just picked Tennessee to finish second in the East. All right, like they're in a fine position, and they overachieved last year. So if that's the cost that you paid for all of this, I actually think Tennessee kind of came out of this in the way that they intended to.
Some of it's also timing too, and I know so much of this occurred before NIL was a thing, and I also understand this has a lot to do with recruits too. But, you mentioned a phrase there that it feels like maybe this is the only thing that the NCAA will ever be able to enforce about now. Who knows? It may end up going to the conferences anyway. Academics, that's it. Like, they're relaxing everything about the transfer portal unless it deals with academics. Academic ineligibility might still be a thing that you can enforce. But you've pointed out how, the NCAA basically is like letting go of so much of the enforcement powers that they've had, I think because they're afraid of being sued more than anything else. Academics is like all that's left, that and Title IX.
Yeah, it's stunning. I mean, and I think we are going to get to this place eventually wherein FBS breaks away from the NCAA and they're able to have a new enforcement agency. And my suggestion with that has been get this new playoff contract, if and when that happens, cover the cost of whatever sort of enforcement agency you're going to want to have, whether it's, because this obviously costs money. It's $20 million to be able to devote to this enforcement agency so that they have the resources necessary to actually, enforce, which is what the NCAA says it's going to do, but actually doesn't, then that's a different discussion. But yeah, if we're in a different place 6 months from now, when Andy Staples brought up this point, our attitude, we're already kind of numb to, we're seeing $60,000 worth of benefits provided, and we're kind of like, oh, that's it? Like, they went to get their nails done, they went to this aquarium, they went to McDonald's, like, all right, cool. Like, these kids are getting, there are a lot of kids getting tens of thousands of dollars worth of NIL benefits, and, we don't really scoff at that. So perspective is everything. Tennessee might have just been able to find the exact right timing, and the fact that they were able to have this kind of prolonged investigation before having to settle with Jeremy Pruitt is another big part of this. So, yeah, this is just a weird story, and it could be a one of one, but I think if they get out of this without a bowl ban, man, there will be a lot of people saying Tennessee kind of lucked out in all this.
Yeah, let's leave it there for now because we're right up against the break. But definitely at some point, Connor, we got to have a longer discussion about what a separate entity that focuses on football only could look like, because that could be very interesting. Thanks as always, Connor.
Yep, appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Connor.
Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. Give him a follow on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. And if you're a fence builder or you have building experience and you're looking for a great job that offers fantastic pay and a $500 sign-on bonus, we'll get a hold of the Fence Man. Imply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is looking for people to build quality fencing and gates for the best fence building team in the state. The Fence Man, again, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer. We're going to wrap the first hour up. After this, it's halftime.
The company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's Wimbledon Finals, Major League Baseball, the latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online, where the game starts.
This song was mistakenly thought to be about animal rights or shock therapy, but Shock the Monkey is really about jealousy. If we're just highly evolved primates, then why does adultery make us so irate? Natural selection would never make you hate someone who would seminate. It's because a supernatural God wired monogamy into our DNA. If you think this issue is benign, you'll be shocked to see Proverbs 6:29. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Read about it.
A pre-owned vehicle that... Bank? Good luck in this market.
But wait, Joe knows good deals. That's right, Joe could get you in a pre-owned car as low as $269 a month, or a truck starting at only $299 a month. Joe knows how to give you more for your trade and save your hard-earned cash. Come see Joe at the Crane Used Car Supercenter, because Joe knows. U.S. Highway 71 in Fort Smith.
PristineAuction.com is the most trusted sports memorabilia auction site. With an A+ BBB rating, auctions on PristineAuction.com start at just $1, and each day there are over 1,000 autographed items available, so you win signed authentic signatures at affordable prices. Just last week, an autographed Justin Herbert jersey sold for $110. Deals like these are happening all the time on PristineAuction.com, and they have just about every player you could want, including Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and so much more. Every item on PristineAuction.com comes with a certificate of authenticity from the industry's most reputable authenticators. Upgrade your collection of signed memorabilia today and get $10 off your first item one when you use code HTL when you sign up. Again, PristineAuction.com, use code HTL and get $10 off your first item one. And that's not all. In addition to $10 off your first item, we are giving away a signed Traylon Burks Arkansas Razorbacks jersey to one lucky listener who signs up using this code HTL. Here's your chance to win. All you have to do is sign up on their website using our registration code HTL to be entered. Visit PristineAuction.com/register today.
The Fence Man, the company you
at Fridays.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Find us on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
We got to imagine the future of, our future overall, when it comes to automation, automated intelligence, artificial intelligence. And I mean, there have been chess-playing computers for years. I just don't know how long there have been actual robots that pick up the pieces and decide where they're going to move them themselves. This happened a week ago at the Moscow Chess Open that ran from July 13th through July 21st. On July 19th, a child who's reported his name is Christopher, one of the top 39 and under players in the entire country of Russia.
Good for him.
Was playing a robot in chess. The boy moved too quickly, I think. From what I read, he moved. He had dropped his piece. The robot went and made a move. The kid picks his piece back up, goes to make a move. The robot then grabs the child's finger and crushes it before the child is led away by his parents and tournament officials screaming his ever-loving head off.
Hopefully the child learned its lesson now, and he won't move too fast next time he's playing a robot.
Exactly. And also, how did the robot crush the kid's finger, but it doesn't crush the chess pieces?
That means it's able to control how hard it's holding something.
Which also means that it was angry.
Yeah, when it comes
the
to
robot
children's
noticed that the child might be trying some shady stuff. Robot said, no, we ain't having this. I'm going to break your finger. Because by all reports, it's just quick skimming. It doesn't say that this chess robot breaks, 2 out of every 3 pieces it picks up. Because that's how much force you. I mean, I know it's a 9-year-old's finger. It's probably not the
means to me the robot got angry.
Strongest thing, but
the child pissed the robot off by violating one of its, as I read, safety precautions. You would think there might be a safety precaution thrown in there so that a chess-playing robot doesn't get violent. But then again, maybe this is one way to actually get people to watch chess on a larger level. You introduce a little violence into it. It seemed to work for football.
Oh, I definitely would. If they introduced some form of chess boxing or some type of thing where there is violence and there is a point of someone could be physically harmed, then yeah, I'm probably going to watch it a little bit more than I do now.
Now, I never saw this movie. I'm sorry.
Go. Do you want me to finish up?
Are they still searching for Bobby Fischer because he was disposed of like in a lake somewhere?
No, I don't know.
I never saw the movie.
I don't know.
Searching for Bobby Fischer.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what the situation is as far as that's concerned. But I do love the phrase from the president of the Moscow Chess Federation, a gentleman named Sergei Lazarev, this on the techspot.com website. Quote, "The robot broke the child's finger. This is, of course, bad," unquote. That's
something had to be lost in translation, right?
That's telling it like it is right there.
I'm guessing that there's some more sentiment behind it. Sentimental, meaning behind it instead of like, that's probably the literal translation, but maybe in Russian,
they
it's
just
like,
have no emotions over there.
It's got to mean something. You can't just be that blunt about it.
When I actually watched the video, I see why it happened. It's because, it's not too much pressure when it's just picking up the chess piece, but when the little kid puts his hand in between the chess piece and the robot, that's where the extra pressure comes. So I think
that could be it. Also, the robot's playing like 3 games of chess at once.
There's too much pressure for one sentient being to
We're overstressing
experience.
the robots.
Yeah.
You can't put too much stress on them or they will attack.
Did it become self-aware?
I mean, I hope not.
Well, the next
luckily, right now, it's just an arm.
Next time, it's gonna come with a combination. If you want to add boxing and chess together, it broken a finger and then a right hook, one right after the other. Yeah, I don't think I'll be playing chess with robots anytime soon.
I'm not smart enough to play chess with robots.
Yeah, I'll just stick to the cat box that cleans itself. That's artificial intelligence too, as I am told. 877-377-6963 into the second hour. It's halftime.
Arkansas Valley Electric members living in Knoxville and Augsburg and surrounding areas, you can now sign up. Wave Rural Connect Internet is available for you. Fast fiber internet, TV, and even phone service. Internet starting at $49.95 a month, TV at $43.99, and phone for $29.95. Sign up now at signup.waveruralconnect.com or 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Shop Metters Lumber True Value for summer savings, like a Lightsol 4000 lumen tactical flashlight. It's perfect for your home, car, or camping, and it's only $24.99. And keep your flashlight and other devices running with your choice of a 16-pack Energizer Max AA or AAA batteries. They're just $16.99. For tough cleaning jobs, get a 200-pack of Scott's all-purpose rags right now for only $12.99. Hurry into Metters Lumber True Value for these bargains of the month while supplies last. Certain exclusion supply. See store for details.
NWA Gold and Silver has moved to a new location in Fort Smith at 4600 Rogers Avenue across from Med Express. NWA Gold and Silver is always buying gold and silver, scrap, bullion, and coins. Plus, NWA Gold and Silver buys and sells jewelry of all kinds. Diamond rings, wedding bands, engagement rings, earrings, and more. Bring in your gold or silver today to the people that pay the most and have the best deals. NWA Gold and Silver in their new location at 4600 Rogers Avenue across from Med Express in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunny skies. There is a chance of isolated showers. A few scattered thunderstorms. Our high this afternoon will be in the upper 90s. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, and overnight low will drop down to near 75. Sunny and hot, upper 90s to near 100 on Tuesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
This is halftime, coming at you from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3. Live from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com. Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Halftime into the second hour here on a hot Monday across our listening audience in the Natural State. Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett with you for the next 60 minutes. Get a little baseball conversation going in 30 minutes with Rob Fischer, host of the Odds Couple podcast and the Infield Fly podcast, which you can find on Grind City Media. A lot of baseball topics you can touch on, too, with the second half fully underway. Biggest story is going to be whoever gets Juan Soto, the outstanding young slugger for the Washington Nationals, who's now officially on the trading block. It's kind of crazy to think about what the Nationals are going to be trading, but then again, it doesn't look like Soto wants to play for him any longer. Arkansas baseball gets what certainly feels like a boost with the return, officially the return now, of Brady Slavens, Arkansas right fielder, first baseman, designated hitter, adding a, well, you know what you get from Slavens if you're an Arkansas baseball fan. He's a left-handed power bat who can go deep on any count just about, usually swinging for the fences. A guy that has hit double-digit home runs for you 2 years in a row. Well, one of the big reasons you made it to Omaha last year, some of the biggest moments of the season, and went undrafted, which felt a bit like a surprise, but in reading in Matt Jones's column in Whole Hog Sports this morning, the arm injury that kept Slavens pretty much sticking to designated hitter most of the season might be one reason that he did not go in the draft. So while it seemed like you were only going to have one of the starters returning from last year's trip to Omaha, it ends up you're going to get two, and it will be Brady Slavens and Peyton Stovall, and I think this can only mean very good things for Arkansas because you've got a guy who's proven he can hit in the SEC if he's back healthy fully. I think even though it shouldn't affect you so much, I think as a hitter, when you know you're just not going to be out on the field very much, that can affect you so much, a little bit emotionally, mentally, more than anything else. So a healthy Brady Slavens might be able to improve upon an OPS that was quite a bit lower than the year before, even though he had 2 more home runs. So a big boost, I think, to the lineup, and I think you'll already have a lineup that can hit anyway, judging by some of the transfers that are coming in and a couple of the incoming freshmen that might get a chance to play early.
Yeah, like we talked about it last Friday, the standard, the bar set for this team definitely doesn't drop regardless of how many returning players you have, but it is good to have Brady back. I think that having that bat, it's one of those things that it's nice to know what you have. You know, we can look at statistics, you can look at box scores from all these incoming transfers, from the incoming freshmen, and that's good, and those numbers are great to where you think that this is going to be a really good hitting team like this team has been in years past, but it's still nice to know for a fact. You know, you've seen it with your own eyes that from more than just one of these guys and what Brady Slavens could do from, at the plate. But in the field, I mean, is he going to just be a DH? Is he going to return to the outfield? I mean, where do you really see him fitting in? Could he play, some first base with Stovall possibly moving over to the middle infield?
Well, I think Stovall's moving over no matter what. I don't think you want him to play first base. He came in as a middle infielder. I think he's going to be, your second baseman no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
There are some other transfers, I think, coming in that you could see as a first baseman. Usually first base for Arkansas is a position that they just sort of have somebody over there to learn the position because they can hit. Slavens, I thought, was a pretty good first baseman 2 years ago. Not great, but good. And it's not his natural position. He played all over the field. I think at Wichita State and junior college and whatnot. And, more right field sometimes. I think I see him, but he may end up battling for at bats. Depending on what goes on with Jace Borfin or Kendall Diggs. I think Diggs is a guy that really will get a good look at first base.
We expect him to get more ABs, especially with how big he came up in critical moments that he did get into that lineup.
And they're totally different hitters, too, because Diggs is very patient, bordering on maybe at times overly patient. And Slavens is on the other extreme, overly aggressive sometimes. And could utilize a little bit of that patience that we see from Diggs. I think if you mix the two of their approaches together,
you got the perfect hitter.
It would be like a perfect approach, just about. But I mean, this is the thing about Arkansas baseball. Like Slavens will be in, I would expect, unless he's hurt, he'll be in the opening day lineup, right? If he's not producing early, like you don't just get in the lineup because you were one of the guys that took him to Omaha last year. That's why you've brought in. What is it, 30 new players from the incoming freshman class to the transfers? But he's a guy who's already proven he can turn around some of the best fastballs that the SEC has. We don't know that about a lot of these other guys because we haven't seen them have the opportunity to do it just yet. So Brady will have that chance to cement his name in that lineup early. But Dave has taken him out of the lineup sometimes because of frustration with approach. So there is room for growth for Slavens as a hitter, emotionally, mentally. He's got a beautiful swing and incredibly powerful. But I mean, it's a great thing when one of your better veteran run producers comes back to the team.
Well, here's the thing with Brady, and kind of the things that he's going to want to concentrate on, and I definitely want your opinion on this, Phil, since you're the voice of the Razorbacks. In order to improve his draft stock for next year after going undrafted this season, is it just proving that he's healthy? Is it proving that patience? Is it showing that he can produce in the field? I mean, what's his main thing, you think, to really boost his draft stock for next year? Besides, hitting over 300 and having decent numbers at the plate, there's got to be one area that you think would really help, get him to the next level.
Well, his power is going to be like 80 out of 80. You know what I mean? We get a text in from Jamie from Van Buren. Hit the longest home run in TD Ameritrade or the Schwab history.
That is true.
In the College World Series, the guy's power is off the charts. What Bubba says so much about this is such truth in hitting. It's not what you swing at; it's what you don't swing at. He's got to get better at what he doesn't swing at. Getting himself out or getting himself in bad counts sometimes. That is the thing, and maybe establishing like what position do you play necessarily. But a left-handed bat like that, I think Brady's faster than some people give him credit for. I think he's really athletic. I think he's smart, but just needs to allow himself the patience to feel like he's more confident getting deeper into the count, and not 0-2 or 1-2, but work at the 2-2, 2-1, something like that. It's more approach with Slavens than anything. And the thing is he doesn't have any more leverage because next year he's exhausting his eligibility. So, at that point, if you have a great year, somebody's going to want you early. So maybe he can raise that draft stock quite a bit. We've got Charlie on hold here. Let's take the phone call. Hey, Charlie, how are you? What's new today?
How's it going, guys? How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good to be back on the air after a relaxing weekend of some sort.
I was gonna say, everybody back in their normal lives now. Is that what everybody back where they're supposed to be? I guess.
Charlie, normal for me is abnormal for just about everybody else. So I'll just say I'm doing it's regular. It's the regular crap for me.
I understand. Well, did you have a good time, Phil, out in North Carolina?
Man, that was fun. Reconnected with 3 friends I hadn't seen in a long time. Had some good food. Got on the beach, got on the ocean, went on a boat for a while, did some tubing, saw a water spout.
Oh, man,
got on CBS News with that. Yeah, man, it was cool.
You were sunning, tanning, everything, huh? Okay.
I've got a little bit of a burn going here, especially top of the legs.
I hear you. Well, I'm happy that Brady's coming back. That's great news. Honestly didn't expect it, and obviously with his power, I mean, a lot of times MLB, scouts, whatever, they fall in love with that. But yeah, I am glad that we're getting him back. That's a huge boost to our team. And I was going to ask you, Phil, as far as like how coaches, and I don't know if you know exactly how DVH does this, but does he give his players kind of the freedom earlier in the count, or does he kind of, it just depends? Or, I know when it's 3-0, he's like, you got to take this pitch no matter what, because if it's a ball, you're walking. But, does he ever give anybody any freedom? Like if it is 3-0 and, hey, you see a meatball coming right down the middle, you can swing at it. I was just going to ask, like, I know you know DVH a little more than obviously we do.
Charlie, I think it depends on the situation. It depends on the pitcher they're facing. There's never a one size fits all approach. So it's really going to depend. And really what hitting is. I mean, you got to perfect your swing and everything like that. These guys' swings are mostly just fine. And a lot of it is about approach, what you're going to see, what you're looking for, what you're willing to lay off, what strike you're willing to lay off, And I think sometimes Brady's strike zone is just a little bit bigger than it needs to be, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I understand. Sometimes guys get 2 strikes, and if they get struck out with an outside corner slider, I think you kind of can live with that as a player. That's just a tough pitch to hit. But I do want to say a couple things about the football team before I go, and I wanted to touch on something that Sam brought up during one of his interviews, and he talked about he was talking to, I don't know if you guys have seen it, Josh Pate. He's from SEC, Saturday down South.
Yeah,
whatever.
He's late kick.
Late kick, yeah.
Yeah. And all the things that they brought up there towards the end of that conversation were exactly what I think everybody's question is about this team. But he mentioned one, the 3rd and 1 thing. For me, 3rd and 1 with this team, I'm not as worried as maybe Coach would be. I personally would put they don't go under center a lot, and I get it because this is a shotgun team. But I personally would just put KJ under and go get that yard. But, I get it. You don't want your quarterback taking all those type of hits, and you don't run under center a lot. But, the whole idea of getting Malik on the field, do you guys think it's more of a, hey, we're going to build him into the game plan package type role, or is it just kind of feel each week? Or, because I think, as a guy with that type of speed, you got all these receivers, and he named about 6 of them. But you're going to have to figure out who's going to stand out. But, yeah, you got to get Malik on the field somehow.
Charlie, I think just to go on that theme, you got to establish that early. Like it won't ever be a surprise if right now if there's some package of plays for Malik Hornsby to show off his stuff. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's players you want to hide sometimes because nobody expects them, to get the ball or nobody expects that play. That's not what you're going to deal with Malik Hornsby right now. Opposing coaches will be looking for him on the field. I think not immediately, but in the first week of the season, heck yeah. I think you're going to see an effect of Malik Hornsby pretty quickly. And as far as like the 3rd and 1 thing is concerned, I don't worry too much about 3rd and 1 with what you've got up front. And Dominique Johnson on 3rd and 1. Rocket Sanders on 3rd and 1.
Oh, they can bust
strong,
through.
Powerful, fast backs. I like them on 3rd and 1 better than KJ because I don't want KJ getting hit like that.
I do too. And you've seen it from both of their styles of running. One thing that they both can do very well, and it's something that separates good from great running backs, is the ability to fall forward. I mean, if you're able to hit that hole and just fall forward for a yard, you definitely have the ability to push their way through for a little bit and fall forward. So anything on 3 and 1, I would be absolutely shocked if it wasn't just a straight, power eye run up the middle type of situation. Now nobody runs a power eye anymore, but that type of play, just hit the 4 hole, hit the 3 hole, fall forward, you'll be fine.
Just throwing this out there as some sort of weird prediction, and I'm usually bad on my predictions because then I end up eating cakes that look like shoes. First half against Cincinnati, 2 balls are headed Malik's way, at least 2. At least 2.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, you got to get him the ball, and I think he's going to be one of your playmakers. So it's not going to be like wait around for it. It's going to happen early.
He's going to be a playmaker, and also you're going to want to design as many different packages that you see him in to make other offenses, throughout the season have to work on it. That's time that Georgia, that's time that Bama, that's time that South Carolina in week 2 is going to have to work on different packages and how to guard Malik Hornsby at different positions. So I agree with you. I think you're going to see him that first game just go here, go there, do this, do that, and you're going to see a lot of it. Now, you're going to see a lot of it throughout the season. Depends on how well it works. But I think you do see a lot of different looks with him in the offense to start the game.
If 2 passes don't head Malik Hornsby's way first half against Cincinnati, I'll eat my belt. But it's actually got to be a fish that's stretched out and looks just like a belt. Okay. 877-377-6963. Right back, it's halftime.
Hey Arkansas fans, this is JD with JD's River Valley Restoration and Detail. We're hogs through and through and we like getting dirty, but our cars need to look clean and fresh, and that's where we come in. Come and check out our brand new expanded shop at 5606 Towson Avenue, or you can follow us on Facebook at JD's River Valley Restoration for new updates including food trucks on the lot, car shows, detail courses, and much, much more. Give us a call at 479-629-7486. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. JD's River Valley Restoration, where we're making new relationships one vehicle at a time.
Harry Robinson Salisal Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisal.
Have a loan with a variable or balloon interest rate and worried about your cost rising? Interest rates are rising and you may have a problem. Farm Credit can fix that. Talk to Farm Credit about locking in a long-term fixed rate for the life of your loan. Farm Credit's long-term fixed rates offer peace of mind in changing economic times. We're offering the longest terms in the ag industry. Talk to Farm Credit today. Find an office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
It's July and it's hot, and so are the prices at Frank Rowe Furniture. For the month of July, Frank Rowe Furniture has slashed the prices on all made in the USA furniture. You can save hundreds of dollars and in some cases thousands. Made in the USA furniture, family owned, in-store no credit check financing, service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture. Best seats in the house, 405 Port Street, Barling, Arkansas.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Picture another world, another dimension, where left is right, up is down, and chicken sandwiches only cost $1. This place exists, and it's called the Hardee's app. So when you buy one hand-breaded chicken sandwich, you get another for just $1. Cluck bait. It's time to fall for some cluck bait. Bite into the hand-breaded chicken menu only at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants exclusively in the Hardee's app or website by registered My Rewards members. Tax not included. See app or website for additional terms and conditions.
Hey, this is Chad Warner, product manager for Booyah Bait Company in Fort Smith, Arkansas. The hottest swim jig on the Arkansas River right now is the Booyah Mobster. It was designed by the Muddy Water Mob, a bunch of river rats from Arkansas and Oklahoma, and it's winning tournaments on Dardanelle and Kerr like clockwork. If you're fishing submerged vegetation, water willow, lily pads, you need a Booyah Mobster to reel them in. Available at lurenet.com and tackle stores throughout Arkansas and Oklahoma, the Booyah Mobster.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
See the curtains hanging in the window in the evening on a Friday night. Little light is shining through the window, lets me know everything's alright. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Guys being dudes.
All right, we had a great introduction yesterday of the Baseball Hall of Fame. And well, Big Papi was the only one that got in on the writers' ballot. Here was Big Papi yesterday.
When I first came to Boston, I have a manager named Grady Little, who was the manager at the time. And my very first at-bat against the Twins during spring training, I tried to move a runner over. And I thought when I got back to the dugout, everybody was going to high-five me. Everybody stay sit. And the manager put me to the side and told me, hey, big boy, I don't want you to bring them, I don't want you to be here to move them over. I want you to be here to bring them in. The rest is history.
That's right. And you know what? I mean, that goes to a theme that I heard in minor league baseball a long time. The kids from the Dominican Republic don't get off the island by drawing walks. They don't get off the island by bunting or by sacrificing an at-bat and moving a guy over. I mean, there was a day where that was the case because what is the name of the town in the Dominican? It's the breeding ground of great shortstops, San Pedro de Macorís. But things are different now. You get off the island by hitting home runs, driving in runs, and that's exactly what Big Papi was talking about. I could listen to him talk for hours.
Oh, I could too. He's absolutely phenomenal. And you're right. That's just how, baseball has turned. You gotta create your game to create good analytics. You gotta create your game to have a good launch angle and all these other new age baseball terms that we've, I guess, I'm definitely not going to say come to love, but at least come to know and appreciate a little bit over the last, 10, 15 years of this major change in the way that baseball is kind of played on a fundamental level. But Big Papi is just, he's always just so entertaining.
Isn't he?
He's I've never met him, and I don't really know anybody that has actually had a personal conversation with.
Sure you do.
David Ortiz.
You know Bubba Carpenter.
Okay, well
we've
then
had Bubba on the show. Bubba.
Then I guess I do.
If I remember how he put this, because they were teammates in the Dominican Winter League for an entire season there once, and I don't remember if Bubba batted behind Papi or if it was the other way around. It'd be funny if Papi was the one providing the line of protection for Bubba. But he said he always called him Booba, and he only did that because he was messing around with him. Because I think he knew exactly how to say Bubba's name. But when you think about it, like Papi and Bubba are kind of the same nickname, just different languages, different parts of the world.
Yeah, it really is. Now, did Bubba always have great things to say about David Ortiz? Nice guy?
Oh,
great
absolutely. He loved him. He absolutely loved him. And
that makes me feel good.
Think about where that's coming from. This is somebody who is a born Yankees fan who played for the Yankees for most of his minor league career and hates the Red Sox with white-hot passion. He loved Papi. And speaking of Boston and the Red Sox and just the city of Boston, such a great sports town. Listen to Papi's answer on the city of Boston, his relationship with those people.
It's been almost 20 years since my first day in Boston. We have some incredible memories. When I think about Boston, I definitely think about 2004, 2007, and of course 2013. After the city was shaken by a marathon bombing, I had never seen a community bounce back and reunite like Boston. When I think about Boston, I also think about the last game I played. Standing on that field at Fenway Park, it feels like the whole city of New England and each one and every one of you was surrounding me and was showing me all your love. I will always be Boston, and I will always be there for you, Boston. I love you, Boston.
It's amazing. I mean, think of some of the players who have had singular relationships with a city. And Poppy had played for Minnesota before that, but then became really one of the most beloved sports figures in that region's history. He's up there with Bobby Orr. He's up there with Tom Brady. Brady's got to be at the top of the list. He's up there with Larry Bird. He's Ted Williams never won a World Series.
Past Ted Williams' most beloved.
Now Ted Williams is maybe my favorite baseball player of all time. I love Ted Williams.
One of
if
not the best hitter of all time.
Never won a World Series. At least. Only advanced to one World Series. Different times, and I don't mean this to say anything nasty about Ted Williams. Never won a World Championship, and that was part of his legacy. And
wasn't a good manager either.
Yeah, his pitchers hated him, and vice versa.
Yeah.
By the way, too. I would. I mean, man, you're parsing things here, but you could certainly make a case for David Ortiz as being the greatest Red Sox player of all time, even as just a designated hitter who never played in the field, or definitely one of the top two greatest Red Sox of all time with the legacy he leaves behind. And as far as Boston's concerned, it's tough to pick other athletes that had more of an impact than he did in that area and were more beloved and even more entertaining, too, just listening to him talk.
Yeah, and he's right. I mean, the way that the city really did rally behind and did come together after the Boston Marathon bombing. And you know, the Red Sox were a part of that story. I mean, from opening day, I believe less than not too long after the bombing, wasn't it? I mean, the bombing was at the Boston Marathon, and the opening day was
that means there's a game being played at Fenway at that very moment.
That's moment.
That's Patriots Day.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to figure out, because I remember there's the big ceremony and everything. Maybe not ceremony is the right way to put it, but you know, moments of silence and display of community that was around that Red Sox and Fenway Park in the coming months, and it was a good season for Boston.
You remember there was specifically a very well-placed F-bomb that Poppy dropped in that moment where he spoke to the entire crowd at Fenway Park. That one word, I think, probably elevated him to higher than he even was before. It's amazing what that word can do sometimes, but it can really impact the way people are feeling. We won't use it, though, here on Halftime. Halftime is brought to you by our friends at Pradco Fishing Lures and Booyah Bait Company, made in Fort Smith, and they make the Booyah Poppin' Pad Crasher. It's the go-to lure for Jason Christie, the 2022 Bassmaster Classic champion. The Booyah Poppin' Pad Crasher Jr. is a smaller version of the Poppin' Pad Crasher. Use it all summer on the river. Frog fishing is a favorite thing to do in summer fishing, and the Poppin' Pad Crasher Jr. is the right size, has the right hook setup to catch them. You'll find it at learnet.com and tackle stores everywhere. The Booyah Poppin' Pad Crasher Jr. After the break, more baseball with Rob Fischer, who is the sideline reporter, pre- and post-game host for the Memphis Grizzlies on Bally Sports, but also hosts a couple of podcasts that focus in on Major League Baseball, and that's next. It's Halftime.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment. From high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders and mini excavators, WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors, or see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need additional construction equipment to continue growing? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website at WTEquip.com.
Hey, this is Mitch at Red River Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep, and folks, this is my favorite time of year. It's Jeep Freedom Days, and you know, at Red River, one thing we believe in, that's freedom. Like right now, you've got the freedom to order your car online at redriverjeep.com. You can custom build it and get it however you want. And you have the freedom to take the in-person experience and come in and order your vehicle right here from a salesperson, or buy one right off our lot. So make that beautiful drive to Heber Springs or check us out online at redriverdodge.com.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Everyone loves great Tex-Mex. The best Tex-Mex around is at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Tex-Mex brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, pork belly tacos, and the best fajitas in town. And when the Hogs are on TV, it's always half-price apps and taps. Your favorite drinks and the best Tex-Mex in town is at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Carco Auto Sales takes great pride in serving Fort Smith, the River Valley, and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years, offering a variety of quality, late model, low mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. The friendly and knowledgeable staff can help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Carco Auto Sales will purchase your vehicle as well. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. Check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales, when you're ready.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
NWA Gold and Silver has moved to a new location in Fort Smith at 4600 Rogers Avenue, across from Med Express. NWA Gold and Silver is always buying gold and silver, scrap, bullion, and coins. Plus, NWA Gold and Silver buys and sells jewelry of all kinds. Diamond rings, wedding bands, engagement rings, earrings, and more. Bring in your gold or silver today to the people that pay the most and have the best deals. NWA Gold and Silver in their new location at 4600 Rogers Avenue, across from Med Express in Fort Smith.
It's the all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet at Golden Corral. Come in and enjoy the endless breakfast buffet with carved ham, tender pork chops, pancakes, French toast, made-to-order eggs and omelets, and, of course, the biscuits and gravy. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and from 8 to 9:30, seniors get all this plus a drink for only $8.99. Golden Corral, 1801 South Waldron, Fort Smith. Order online at goldencorral.com for curbside pickup or delivery. Golden Corral, the only one for everyone.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you. Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go? Jamaica, off the Florida Keys. There's a place called Kokomo. That's where you wanna go to get away from it all.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963.
Rob Fischer joining us here on Halftime. Rob from Grind City Media, also the Memphis Grizzlies pre- and post-game host, also on the sidelines on Bally Sports. Hosts a couple of baseball podcasts, also covers lots of college. Basically, you do everything, Rob. I mean, if you're in the middle of the country, if you're in Tennessee, you got a lot to pay attention to, and it sounds like you pay attention to all of it.
I do, but although right now the only thing I'm paying attention to is this beautiful view that I have of the Gulf of Mexico down here. I'm sitting on the beach. That's how much I love Drew Barrett, you guys.
I appreciate it,
I'm
Rob.
sitting on the beach in the middle of my vacation, watching the waves, beautiful day, but here I am talking with you guys. So, yeah, great to be with you guys.
I heard the quality of your show dropped immensely once Drew stopped producing it. And once he joined our show here, man, I mean, we have done nothing but win award after award after award. Yeah, so
that's right.
I mean, you know Drew very well. You know what it's like to work with this kid.
Yeah, I don't know how our show was so good with Drew. It was amazing. But yeah, then just went straight downhill after he left. But, enjoy hearing Drew. It was great to see him at SEC Media Days and talk a little college football. It's college football season now. Talking season's underway, and we're right around the corner from camp, and then games will be here before you know it.
Yeah, it really is. Really is. And you got plenty to talk about if you're in Tennessee as far as Tennessee football is concerned. We had Connor O'Gara on earlier. He thinks Tennessee might have, as he used the term, shot the moon by potentially not facing major penalties, which maybe a few years ago that things might have been a little bit different. Do you have a sense that Tennessee, by the actions, by getting rid of almost the administration and the coaching staff and self-reporting as much as they did, that they actually might have dodged some of these penalties?
I think that's the hope. And heck, we're going through it at Memphis with the basketball program.
Mm-hmm.
You know how long these things take. And, with the Memphis basketball program, they kind of defied the NCAA. So I think everyone's expecting them to get harsh penalties. But for Tennessee, like you mentioned, they got rid of the coach, got rid of the staff. Then all these things came out. Now more is coming out. So I think their hope would be, since they got rid of the coach and they did so in such a quick manner, that, maybe the NCAA won't be as harsh on Tennessee as potentially they could be. So I think that's the hope with UT. And I think they might be right. As I said, for how long these things drag on and drag out, hopefully it's nothing that's going to hurt Tennessee here in the near future, because, they went through a 3-coach period that you'd be hard-pressed to find a 3-coach, 3 coaches hired in a row that turned out worse than what's happened with Tennessee. The Butch Jones thing was a disaster. Derek Dooley was an even bigger disaster. And now Jeremy Pruitt, an even bigger disaster if possible. So it was just a horrible run, and now things are looking better with Josh Heupel, and the offense is looking like it's fun. A lot of people are making Tennessee that chic second pick in the East this year. I don't think anybody's making the crazy pick other than Georgia and Alabama this season, but, it's a race for second. I think a lot of people like Tennessee as second in the East, and that'd be a huge leap for them. It'd be a nice change of direction, going in the right way for once in a long time for Tennessee. So this news is kind of depressing, but hopefully it'll go away, and hopefully the NCAA won't be as harsh, because Tennessee did take care and did take some action.
Hopefully, everything that you just laid out will be true, but we've also seen, the NCAA be so weird about these things where it doesn't matter if you cooperate or you go against them, that they're going to lay down the law either way. Rob, before we move on to baseball, I do have to know, and I do just want to make sure to clear your name on this. You weren't the person that voted Vandy as the SEC champion at Media Days, were you?
Oh, gosh, no.
Okay, good.
But Clark Lee did say it's just a matter of time before Vanderbilt is the best program in America. So now they have lost 21 straight SEC games. So I think it's going to take a while for that to happen. I don't think they're going to win an SEC game this year. I just don't see that. Man, they got the best deal going in all of college athletics. Just sitting there in the SEC, making all this money. I saw a stat today that from 2025 to 2035, they're going to make $1 billion. Vanderbilt, their football program. That's incredible. That they have one of the best spots in all of college football, and securing that spot. College football goes to a couple of mega conferences. Just to think that Vanderbilt's a part of it is kind of amazing.
It truly is amazing to think that Vanderbilt and Rutgers is going to win and still play major college football from here till the end of time, because they seem to luck out. Now, going from the best spot in college athletics from Vandy to something that you're a part of, the quote-unquote best fans in baseball, how do you see the Cardinals, making a run in the second half? Because it's not out of reach. They're only 2.5 games behind the Brewers, but we've all known through most of the season that it was going to be how do you catch the Brewers?
Yeah, it's been a little frustrating as a Cardinal fan, because it just feels like the Cardinals' success is based on the Brewers' failures right now. The Cardinals, it seems, have had an opportunity to take the Central Division, and they just haven't. Why is that? Well, they have a lack of pitching, and despite the fact they have arguably the two best players at their individual position in Goldschmidt and Arenado, they still need more bats in the lineup. I'm excited about the Soto news. I think it would be great to add that bat to the lineup, especially for the future of this franchise. But you still have a hole at pitching. I mean, it's pretty dreadful with the Cardinals lineup. When you get past the top four in the order, you just feel like they're automatic outs. So to add another bat would be great. But Adam Wainwright hasn't won since June 27th. He hasn't won in his last four starts. He's 0-3 in those four starts. He gave up 7 runs in his last start, which is just as many runs as he gave up the entire month of May. Dakota Hudson's been throwing batting practice. Miles Michaelis got lit by the Cincinnati Reds yesterday. Steven Matz comes back on Saturday and then has a tear in his MCL. He's back on the injured list. So the pitching's a nightmare, too. I don't think Soto's bat necessarily puts the Cardinals in the playoffs. I think a pitcher would be more important by the trade deadline next week. We'll see if the Cardinals are in the mix on any of that. My expectation as a Cardinal fan is that maybe a minor move here, maybe some bullpen help. I don't expect a major move, despite the fact that we keep hearing all these reports about them being willing to offer Juan Soto $500 million. You do that, I think the Cardinals are tapped out, and I still don't think that's good enough to win.
But that also goes on top of, if you're trading for Juan Soto, what does Washington expect? Like, are you mortgaging the future of the franchise by going after Soto, and you don't even know if you can sign him again? I don't think the Cardinals have the base of a team right now to really make a run, and it's because of the injuries more than anything pitching. Like, I mean, you don't have the bats in the lineup behind Arenado and Goldschmidt. Too many injuries on the mound right now.
No doubt about it. And that's why the Soto thing is, it's fun. I mean, heck, anytime your team's involved in getting one of the best players in the game, that's exciting. That's a lot of fun. I just don't think it's the answer for that team because of what you just mentioned. There are bigger question marks, bigger holes in that pitching staff. And when you look at a best-of-3 series, best-of-5 series, best-of-7 series, you better have the staff. And I don't think the Cardinals have that right now. So that's where I would be more intrigued for them making moves. But, hey, if you want to get Juan Soto, let's go for it. That'd be a lot of fun. But I just don't think that's the answer for the Cardinals right now. Hey, Brewers haven't played great baseball, so Cardinals will stick around till the end. You shore up the pitching just a little bit. Maybe Matt doesn't look like he's going to come back now. But, if you're going to trade Liberatore, I mean, who's your next guy that's going to come up and fill that gap? So I think there are a lot more questions going in this trade deadline than the Cardinals even want to admit.
It's the worst division in baseball right now. But just think about what you're trading by trading Juan Soto, and really just the destruction and demolition of that Nationals championship from just 3 years ago. I mean, you had Scherzer leave, Rendon left, Soto's going to leave, Harper's gone.
Strasburg's been injured the whole time.
Right. It's tough to keep these winning teams together. I think Soto sees that. He does not want to be the thing that a team is built around. He wants to go somewhere that's sort of already built and get paid to do it. I think it's New York. I think it's the Mets or it's the Dodgers.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's crazy just talking about those three teams. But, I mean, the Dodgers, they just keep adding and keep adding. The Mets and the Yankees, you always expect them possibly to make some sort of move like this. If the Yankees were to make a move like this and sign Soto to $500 million, well, my goodness, what are they going to do with Aaron Judge? I mean, this is the guy who's the best player in baseball. How much are you going to sign him for? It would have to be more than that. So I think it'd be very interesting to see the Yankees go that route. And does that mean the end of Aaron Judge? And he might even be more valuable than Juan Soto on the market. So, yeah, you're going to have to give up a lot. I guess the other team that was mentioned was San Francisco making that sort of deal. But, San Francisco at this point, I don't know if you're poised to make a run for this year. Maybe that'd be something more so in your future. But if that's the case, why not wait till the end of the season when he's a free agent, see if you can make a move at that point and woo him at that point. So, yeah, I don't think there are a lot of teams capable of making this trade. And the ones that are capable are those usual suspects that you mentioned. So that's why it's hard for me to believe that the Cardinals are a team that's in the mix, or the Padres for that matter, being in the mix. And I know early on Cardinals and Padres were the two favorites to land him. So that would surprise me. It'll be really interesting here in this next week. I think he'll be moved. I just don't know where at this point.
Mm-hmm. Now, Rob, as we are in the second half of the season, half of the divisions are pretty much all locked up with double-digit leads, and then the other half are pretty interesting. I think, the Twins have a 3-game lead on the Guardians, 1.5 games back of the Braves. Then, like we talked about with the Cardinals and the Brewers, just right there. Out of those 3 that we actually could see some movement and see some changing of a possible division winner, out of those 3 divisions, which ones do you think is going to be the most exciting to watch down the stretch?
Well, I think the National League East, just because the Mets and the Braves are good. You look at the American League Central, and Twins got that lead. They're holding on to it. Guardians they're the youngest team in baseball. Heck, they're the youngest team in AAA baseball, which is amazing. And Francona's done a great job with that team. So I imagine they'll hang around, but I don't know if they got enough to get over the top. The White Sox have been right at 500 all season. They just can't get over that hump. They've been marred with injuries all year. The Tony La Russa thing with the fans has been kind of a little bit of a distraction as well. So I just don't – the sample size is too big for me to think the White Sox are suddenly going to go on a tear. The National League Central, like I said before, it's a 2-team race, Cardinals and Brewers, and it just feels like that one's a war of attrition. The one that can just outlast the other at the end, they'll be the one. The Braves and the Mets, that's the one that's exciting because I think they're 2 really good teams. And the Braves, it's not like the Mets have lost this big lead they had in the division. The Braves have come to take that lead in this division and to see themselves just a game and a half back. They got a big 5-game series coming up next week, which could go a long way. Mets got DeGrom coming back here in the next week. So I think that's going to be a heck of a race for the rest of the way. And which of those teams will either one of them be active at the deadline? Braves were really active subtly last year, and it helped them win the World Series. How active are they going to be at this trade deadline? How active are the Mets going to be? Will they try to go out and get themselves a catcher like a Wilson Contreras possibly at the trade deadline, which could be a huge move for them? So I think the Braves and Mets, that's going to be the one that's going to have the most intrigue because I think they're both playoff teams, but certainly you want that division. I think they'll fight it out through the end.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, Rob, you brought up all the turmoil and distraction that it has been Tony La Russa with the White Sox on the South Side. Is his days numbered? Is this going to be the last season for him as the manager?
Well, I know when they hired him, the biggest regret that they had, that ownership group had, was firing Tony La Russa like 30 years ago. So, but this is 30 years later. I imagine, this is an ownership hire, so it would have to be an ownership fire. I think it's very difficult to do. If the White Sox somehow can pull off this division, I think he'd be fine. If they don't, I think there'd be too much pressure that they'd have to make a move. And when you have the pressure from the fans who are chanting to fire Tony, and when you have moves that Tony has made this year that really are inexplicable, I think it's difficult to, have his backing at this point. I mean, the guy, he's old. He's really old. And I'm not saying the game's passed him by, but he still manages like he used to manage with the A's and the Cardinals, that, he's the smartest guy out there and doesn't have to give you an explanation. But sometimes he does things that are just head scratching. And I think it gets to a point where if this young team underperforms, and again, a lot of it's had to do with injuries, but by the end of the season, if they underperform, I think we'll see a managerial change.
Well, he called for the only intentional walk I've ever seen on a 1-2 count, and I don't think I'll ever see that again. Rob, appreciate you, man.
And the thing was, if he had a good explanation for it, fine, but he gave some BS explanation. And you're like, dude, just tell us why you did it instead of making things up. I mean, it's and I love Tony La Russa. He's one of my favorite guys that I've ever covered in sports, but sometimes he's tough to figure out.
35 years ago, his way of thinking was totally different than everybody else. Now, things change in 35 years.
That's
Rob,
right.
We got to run. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for hopping on with us.
Guys, anytime. Great talking with you.
Hey, appreciate it, Rob.
That's Rob Fischer. It was fun talking with him. At the Fish Nation, if you want to follow him on Twitter, part of Grind City Media, focusing on baseball and college football, and also the pre- and post-game show host and sideline guy for the Memphis Grizzlies on Bally Sports. All right, we'll wrap things up right after this break. It's halftime.
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot, now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands with the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch.
Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's Wimbledon Finals, Major League Baseball, the latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online, where the game starts.
This song was mistakenly thought to be about animal rights or shock therapy, but Shock the Monkey is really about jealousy. If we're just highly evolved primates, then why does adultery make us so irate? Natural selection would never make you hate someone who would seminate. It's because a supernatural God wired monogamy into our DNA. If you think this issue is benign, you'll be shocked to see Proverbs 6:29. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Read about it.
A pre-owned vehicle that won't break the bank? Good luck in this market.
But wait, Joe knows good deals. That's right, Joe could get you in a pre-owned car as low as $269 a month, or a truck starting at only $299 a month. Joe knows how to give you more for your trade and save your hard-earned cash. Come see Joe at the Crane Used Car Supercenter, because Joe knows. U.S. Highway 71 in Fort Smith.
PristineAuction.com is the most trusted sports memorabilia auction site. With an A+ BBB rating, auctions on PristineAuction.com start at just $1, and each day there are over 1,000 autographed items available, so you win signed authentic signatures at affordable prices. Just last week, an autographed Justin Herbert jersey sold for $110. Deals like these are happening all the time on PristineAuction.com, and they have just about every player you could want, including Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and so much more. Every item on PristineAuction.com comes with a certificate of authenticity from the industry's most reputable authenticators. Upgrade your collection of signed memorabilia today and get $10 off your first item one when you use code HTL when you sign up. Again, PristineAuction.com, use code HTL and get $10 off your first item one. And that's not all. In addition to $10 off your first item, we are giving away a signed Traylon Burks Arkansas Razorbacks jersey to one lucky listener who signs up using this code HTL. Here's your chance to win. All you have to do is sign up on their website using our registration code HTL to be entered. Visit PristineAuction.com/register today.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team.
Someone reached in and grabbed it. What a rock, lost the job.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine.
Follow the guys on Twitter at PhilElsonPXP, at Matt Travis, and at DBarrett36. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Let's see here. Put the San Jose State Spartans on the Arkansas men's basketball schedule Saturday, December 3rd. This recording to Scotty Bordelon on Whole Hog Sports. Be at Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville. San Jose State was 8-23 last year, 1-17 in Mountain West Conference games. So mark it as just another outstanding non-conference game for Arkansas basketball, including North Dakota State, 3 with the Maui Invitational, Oklahoma, UNC Asheville, and Baylor. And there's a new sponsor for the Fiesta Bowl.
That there is, according to Brett McMurphy about 30 minutes ago. Verbo is the new naming rights sponsor for the Fiesta Bowl. They are the 4th different naming rights sponsor for the Fiesta Bowl since Tostitos' deal ended in 2014. The Fiesta Bowl will be a host of the semifinals this New Year's Eve.
Very good. So don't know, you're not allowed to get an Airbnb if you attend that game. It's got to be a Verbo.
I guess you have to.
It's the only way it works. No hotels, no staying on friends' couches.
Where do the teams stay? Do we have to separate teams from different properties throughout Phoenix there?
That's a really good point. I mean, you're going to have to just drive. You know how at the Masters, all the golfers stay at other people's houses, like people that live in Augusta. I don't think they verbo them out or anything like that, but that'd be really cool. Like, you get the wide receiver staying at one house. You get the defensive line staying at another house.
Because we can't have them staying at a Hilton if Verbo is the sponsor.
Absolutely right. Come on, man. I mean, these sponsorships go with conditions, don't they? They should.
I guess, but I mean, it's always going to be Tostitos to me. I mean, it's the classic Fiesta Bowl logo with the Tostitos and the chips, and that's just the way I'm always going to know it by. Just like, we talked about Heinz Field. People are always going to call it Heinz Field. Doesn't matter how much you pay for it.
I'm just going to call
Verbo.
it the
It's always
Fiesta
going to
Bowl.
be. It's going to be but to me, it's going to be the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl because it's the way things should be. Something called Fiesta
together.
should be sponsored by something with chips and salsa. It just goes together.
Yes. Though it's the cheese, I think, is Fritos. All right, we've made it to the end of another award-winning edition of Halftime, and we're back with you tomorrow for what should be an outstanding Tuesday. Stay as cool as you can out there if you got a cucumber. For Maddie and Drew, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.